if I was in Drew's shoes, like, I just feel so good. Like, I could just let this rip. Like, what's the worst that can happen, right? Like, if we don't win it all, they're going to be talking shit anyway.
That tells you that Penn State's in a now or never attitude. And they have to be, quite frankly. You know, I would be lying to you if I told you I'm unsure about next year's team. There's going to be a lot of guys gone. Number 2 in the nation, soon to be number 1. You can bet on it, baby.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out early. Ohio State, Texas, week 1.
Woo! Let's get it.
Quarterback sneak right side, touchdown, Penn State.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated it.
Jay, been getting a lot of questions about the pocket. When's it coming back? Blah 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 blah. Well, here it is. Here it is. We don't want to fill your mind with mindless conversation during the off season. We want to make sure it's pertinent. So here we go. This is like our season kickoff. We're gonna dive into some more in-depth like player, offense, defensive side of the ball stuff next week. But we really just wanted to get out here, give you an announcement. There's been a ton of hype around this football team the last few weeks, both national level, smaller media outlets, and much of it is warranted. I think it's just fortuitous for us to jump on here, hit those high points, get back in the flow of things. We're back and kick it off, bro. So what's good with you? How's everything been? You got a fresh cut. I like that.
Got a fresh cut, man. College J is back. I'm looking a little bit younger now, man. The dreads had to go. TVJ is loading. Excited about that. Out with the old, in with the new. But it's been great, man. It's been an awesome off season. I'm super excited for the overall ramp up of football, college, and NFL, man. It always seems like a long off season, and we're just jumping out of our seats ready for that first game, August 30th, to kick off this year, man. And obviously the AP poll ranking is huge. I think Penn State's being talked about on a national scale, which is what we, imagine this team to be. Have a lot of starters coming back, a lot of veteran guys, senior and junior led. So that's great to see. Drew Allar's last ride, man. I'm just super excited for what this season has.
Yeah, man. I'm looking at this and it's funny now, having done this for a few years, talking about expectations, and I fell victim to it. Like the last 2 years, I said this is the most expectations. Well, actually, I'll take that back. 2 years ago, I talked about all the expectations. Last year, I talked about a little bit of a dark horse mentality because they didn't quite achieve what I thought that team was capable of achieving. And now we're back at this just accumulation of the perfect storm where I think, to the program's credit, they've done a lot of things personnel-wise on the coaching staff, personnel-wise on the field, to shove all in, right? I really think for the first time, this is where you've seen Coach Franklin and the athletics and the athletic administration up there really just shove all chips in. Yeah. Got pocket aces, like the stars have aligned type of thing. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's a scary place to be in. It's a scary place to be in because I don't think coach has ever done that up there. It's really uncomfortable in anything you do, right? Taking risks, starting a business, quitting a $200,000 a year job to go start a business, betting on yourself type of thing. Mm-hmm. But without uncomfort, you can't really achieve your full potential. You know what I mean? You have to be uncomfortable to get to that point. So that's where I get most excited. It's less about the noise and the semantics and a lot of the talking points that you hear from a lot of these talking heads, and more about the intangible side of it. Like being in a locker room, if I was in Drew's shoes, I just feel so good. I could just let this rip. What's the worst that can happen, right? If we don't win it all, they're going to be talking shit anyway. So you have all these resources at your disposal, and I think as a player, you gotta feel pretty free and relaxed, right?
There's no doubt about it. We're not having those mental battles, throughout training camp of whether it starts from the bottom of, am I going to be a starter? What does my playing time look like? Am I going to be able to make these or that plays? Does coach trust me? When you're not having those types of battles, and you're just out there focusing on what you got to do on a daily basis. And that's where I think, Drew Allar obviously is. He's led this team the past couple of years, and, this is obviously probably going to be his last one in the blue and white uniform. And I think when you have that freeness that you're talking about, man, you can just go out and play. I think that's when you get the best version of us as football players, because there's enough mental battles going on in between the lines that when you go back to the sideline and you're still having them, that's just not a good place to be. Whether that's guys that have off-field issues, maybe they're, we played in the NFL, maybe it's a guy who's going through a divorce that nobody knows about, when your judgment, your mental is just clouded in any kind of way, that we see that on the field. And I think this is really an opportunity for this Penn State team that has heard it all, that has heard they haven't and can't win the big game, that has heard that they had the easiest route to the playoffs last year, and SMU and Boise State, and when you get to a real opponent, you don't show up and, make it to the Big Ten championship, don't win. I think they're tired of hearing it. And I think they just know what it is at this point. We know what the noise sounds like. We know what we got to go do. We know what the monkey or the donkey that's on our back that we got to get on. Like, we know all of that stuff, man. And I think Coach Franklin is such a process-oriented person. He's such a day-by-day guy, and winning the day and doing what you have to do to get 1% better tomorrow, that if they truly do take that, mindset to heart and just take that approach day by day, week in and week out this coming year, I think they're going to accomplish all that they want and can accomplish this season.
Yeah, and I think there's obviously a handful of programs that have a lot of good things going for them. You look at Texas down there with, they lose their starter for 3 years, but they have a guy who's got a lot of burn, got some playing time, got some reps, high profile, and Arch Manning, and they feel good about him, right? It's one of those weird situations where there's really no drop off when you have a new, you kind of know what you're getting type of thing. Yeah. And that obviously is a very, very talented roster. Sark's done a hell of a job kind of turning that, kind of bringing that program back from the entitled Stone Ages is what I always called Texas. There was a stretch there after the Vince Young, Colt McCoy era where they almost felt like the Longhorn on the side of the helmet was too big to fail, and then you saw teams like Baylor and Texas A&M right in their backyard, kind of rise from the ashes and become national powerhouses. And I think that really Texas got kicked in the ass there, and it's cool to see that. It's great for that brand. But there's a lot of football teams that have done similar things. It's just I think Penn State has landed in this unique position where they've been so consistent for so long that it has become a much more attractive landing spot for somebody like Jim Knowles, right? Where the lateral move, people talked about how crazy it was. You just, from Ohio State to Penn State, lateral position, obviously the money's better and blah, 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 but that's all part of the game.
Yeah.
But for Jim, he talked about it's still Penn State. And Coach Franklin has played a big role in getting it back after those few years shake up there back in the day where it's back to that position where it is a destination spot, not only for players, but for coaches. And that's going to be a big part of it, man. Like I said, I just truly believe, looking back outside of Moorhead when you guys were there, and even Pry came with him from Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
All of the guys that he's had who were ex-head coaches, big higher names, Manny Diaz, they were here and gone. I don't think Jim Knowles is going to go chase another head job. Coach Kaltenecki has done a fantastic job of being I mean, do we hang on to him for another 2 or 3 years? Probably not. He is going to be a head coach in some capacity, but you've got 2 top 5 coordinators in the country, wherever they land. You got a head coach who's learned a lot, been in the same place, been super consistent. You got a great roster. And then the one thing that I think is really, playing out well is the schedule, right? People talk about the cupcake games, but I at this point, I kind of agree with it. I'm on the fence of I wish that broad stroke college football had the same mentality where they want to see Texas and Ohio State week 1 type matchups across the country, right? That's just better for the game, right? You want the best of the best playing each other consistently. And if you have a 3-loss team that has 5 top 5 losses, no shit, that's a really good football team. They're going to be better than somebody who hasn't played anything. But the way that the precedent's been set, that's not the case. So I don't blame these programs for going out and whacking those big, like, kind of gotcha games early in the season just to go get games where you should go boat race people. And then our bye weeks, right? Like, we have a bye week right before the Oregon game, right?
Yeah.
2 weeks to prepare for the biggest one coming up in the early season. And then we have a bye week right before the Ohio State game. Yeah. Another big one for us. So the way that this schedule plays out, it is insane.
Yeah, I don't know who was able to make that happen, that both of our bye weeks come before our biggest games of the season in Oregon and Ohio State, but bless the Lord, because I think that's going to be huge and play a factor for sure. I mean, I'm also going to say this. Ohio State also, I don't know how this happened, but Ohio State also has a bye week before that game as well. So both Coach Day and Coach Franklin are going to have approximately 13 or 14 days to get their teams prepared for each other. And that game's going to be a matter of who schematically has the best game plan to attack, each opponent's weaknesses. And I think that's I'd rather not have it any other way. I think that's absolutely awesome. And I think that type of matchup deserves that level of preparation because, let's be real, every single year that is our Super Bowl, between them or Michigan, that's our Super Bowl every year in the regular season. Yeah. That's what it seems to be the only thing that matters. We still are hearing it to this day. Penn State hasn't beat Ohio State since 2016. That's a monkey on our back. And the fact that the past 3-4 years, whatever it's been, we're losing by 1 point or 3 points, and we're just right there, and we're one play away. This is the year I think that that play goes our way, and it has to. And I think right now in the building, and you mentioned with guys like Jim Knowles making that level of a hire, putting that level of commitment, even from a money standpoint, into a guy like that to bring him here. That tells you that Penn State's in a now or never attitude, and they have to be, quite frankly. I would be lying to you if I told you I'm unsure about next year's team. There's going to be a lot of guys gone. You got about three or four seniors on that offensive line. You got Drew Allar. Next quarterback's going to be untested. 2 best running backs will both be gone to the NFL. A lot of loss on the defensive side of the ball. So you kind of have to go all in because next year leaves a lot of question marks across the board. And I'm not saying we don't have the players that have the capability to step up and also be stars in their own right, this, that, and a third. But the reality is those guys who are going to be stepping up next year will be unproven. And we have proven guys, battle-tested guys right now who need to go out there and show that.
Yeah, no doubt.
They can get over the hump.
No doubt. But I think that that's part of the matriculation process, right? Look back to Alabama the past when we were playing. When Alabama was, you go to Alabama dynasty in your cycle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's turnover there too, right? But I think that there's always that point, and I finally think I put my finger on kind of the great or good versus great or great versus elite conversation that Coach Franklin brings up. That's it, man. It's the ability to just kind of let it all hang out and go play and not worry about what's coming next. And that type of ecosystem and environment breeds success even into the unknown, right? I think if this team goes out and does, what it can do, top end, those unknowns and those question marks aren't going to be talking points. You're going to be oh yeah, they had a top 5 recruiting class. They're going to be fine. And you have great coordinators and the expectation, but I feel there's always that kind of fulcrum point, where the two tides meet and something has to give one way or the other. And like I said, I think just big picture now, looking at the entire war map here and war gaming this out, that's where this program's at. It could be they do what they do and then we're not worried about next year. We're just talking about how they're going to come out and do what they're supposed to do again, no matter what. Or it could be kind of what you hinted at, where this team underachieves, and are we still stuck in that same cycle that we've kind of been stuck in of being a really, really good football team, not a great/elite football team or program, which is interesting. And I think there's a lot of elements to that, right? We've talked about the coaching hires, we've talked about all this stuff, but there's another element here that I think is very unique that kind of ties all this together. And I saw this thing. I'm not sure how big it was. Again, I got 2 kids. I don't wake up in the morning and read Penn State football news every day. But kind Coach Losi in like July came out. He's our strength and conditioning coach, talking about, and we talked about this last year at the end, like how the extended season is going to affect spring ball and all these things. And I just thought it was really, really funny, like having our experience in the strength and conditioning room compared to where they are now and how much that has developed in relatively short period of time. But Coach Losi talks about how big focus on peak performance, shortening intensity down, and adding in and layering in a pliability, durability, health and maintenance type of element in the weight room and in their program, to really try to like bulletproof these guys for the longevity of the season that they're going up against now with the extension in the playoffs and stuff like that. Like, that's an element too that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. And when you go back to all these expectations, right? Like, what's the only thing that can fuck this season up? Injuries. Yeah. Like, you have 3 or 4 key injuries. Like, that's what it is. That's part of our game, right? So making sure that we're not only shoving all in on a coaching staff standpoint, a personnel standpoint, but we're hedging all of our bets holistically with program development in certain areas. And I think that's something that needs to be spoken about more because, like I said, I truly believe it just comes down to success is going to be, can all of the elements in the football side from the schematics and player and all that stuff fall in line, which like everybody tries to do, and then can you stay healthy, period.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. It makes me laugh because when you look at our time there, when it comes to strength conditioning, I mean, I felt like we were balls to the wall 1,000% of the time. Like, we might have had one deload week every like 8 or 9 weeks where like we didn't have 400 pounds on our back and we're maxing out on squat, deadlift, and bench. But like for the most part, like I said, I mean, we were just balls to the wall. And like, I know when we were in college, like we felt indestructible. Like I barely got hurt. I had a few broken bones, but like besides that, I pretty much stayed healthy, my whole career at Penn State, played in almost every single game I possibly could have. But to see that things are being so data driven now, and you remember when you were still there when we first got Catapult, right? The little mini tank top things. Okay, so you weren't even there. That might have been the first year that you left. We got like these Catapult things that track like the amount of miles we ran, the speeds that we ran at during practice. And that was like the first year we even started to incorporate data into like the way we thought about strength and conditioning and preserving the body and keeping, the tires fresh and things of that nature when it came to the players. That was like the first time. And we were like so geek thinking we were like so advanced. And like now you have these sports scientists that are inside of the buildings. Every building has nutritionists. They're following meal plans and what you need to be eating. They're having weekly meetings on these things. Like the level that it's getting done at is just so much more elite. And, it reminds me a lot of the league, and even in the league, it's different because maybe some teams offer you that, but some teams probably don't. And it's kind of like you got to be on top of it yourself because you're a pro now and you're a grown-ass man and nobody's going to hold your hand like how they hold your hand a little bit in college, So for it to be to that level, I think it's good because I think obviously we have a lot of talented guys that have the capability of going to the league, and for them to have this style of approach this early in their football careers, I think is going to pay a ton of dividends down the road because now they'll have even more structure. They'll understand even more how they need to think about their bodies and things of that nature. Because as much as like I loved what that did for us from a mentality standpoint, from a toughness standpoint, I'm not sure if bench squatting, maxing, 85% of our maxes every single Friday or, whatever it was. And, the 4 a.m. workouts and all that, like I'm not sure if that was maybe the best thing for us, Bro, so the fact that they're factoring all that stuff in is awesome.
Bro, you hit on so many things. Like if I were to go back and write out like what my diet was while I was playing at Penn State, like comical, bro. Like I'm talking like comical, bro. Not like they'd be like, this dude like a gamer who sits in his grandma's basement? Like comical, dude. Like brutal.
Burger King, Chick-fil-A, in the Hub, Panda Express.
Bro. Box of Oreos on Thursday night before games.
Smoothies are probably like 2,000 calories a smoothie. Like
crazy shit, bro. Like beyond fathomable shit. Right? And like no one was telling me that was wrong. And like you said, like we're so young and all amped up and all like
we can at that age, a little bit you can get away with it some,
But like you said, like it's about maximizing, right? Like imagine if I maximize that element side. Like I always think about that now with all with how much you have that kind of like hand holding and development and molding, and that's like just on the nutritional side, right? And then you start getting into the position specific training shit. Like, bro, I just played a game at quarterback, got the shit kicked out of me, and I got 400 pounds on my back on Sunday lifting with you. Like, what the fuck am I doing lifting with linebackers? You know what I mean? Like those, like, and it's just not that we didn't know. Like, I'm not blaming anybody. Like to your point, we're daddy it up, right? Build a different mentality.
We believed in it 100%. We were all for it, man.
Yeah, but there's an element of like of growth on that side that I think a lot of your national pundits like don't talk enough about. Like that's why the product's getting better. Yeah. And that's why the expectations are subsequently getting higher, and you throw NIL and all these other things in there. But the fact of the matter is you're getting a much more finished product earlier in the cycle when you combine NFL and like a player's overall career. Yeah. They're learning how to maximize and optimize output at a younger age. Yes. And that's the tip of the cap to programs that are doing it. And I really believe that there were a handful of programs even when we were there that were kind of like where Penn State is now. Yeah. And I'm not saying that again, right, wrong, or indifferent, but that's an element of like getting ahead of the curve. Like how much can you push innovation in the areas of your football building that nobody else is talking about, because all everybody thinks it is who can get, the most 5 stars in a building and roll them out there and go beat people. That's not how it works. You have to develop holistically as a program. So, just seeing this, like Chuck's a guy who was there when we were there. They brought in Andrew Nelson, who played with us from a data and analytics side, and like seeing them work with even the training staff now too on injury prevention stuff, like seeing all that work. That was when we were there. Those were all kinds of like their own pods, right? Like they didn't collaborate. Like usually when Tim Bream was talking with Big Deej, like you were like, oh, what's going on? Like, who's in trouble? Who's got, the boxing gloves on today? Like now, that's a normal thing.
Real. There's more cohesion. There's more cohesion. When you're a college kid, and at least when we were there, and we were having our day start at 4:30 in the morning because we had 5 a.m. winter workouts, and you're going class all day long, and then you have maybe a walkthrough or meetings or something later that day, and study hall as a freshman from 8 to 10 o'clock. I mean, there's not a lot of time for sleep. Now in the building, we have freaking sleep rooms. If you go in that little back room where all the little game and the little golf simulator and all that stuff is, you make a little left there, and it's like the whole nutrition, sports science, and like the whole brand new section of the building that never existed, that they just expanded. And there's literally rooms you can go and sleep in and get an hour right after winter workouts before, going to class, and like all these little things. It seems little, being able to take a 45-minute nap instead of being like, oh, well, I got class in like an hour and 20, so I can't really go home and put all my stuff down and do all this. And like, nah, you can just go walk 30 seconds over there, take an hour nap, and like that type of stuff accumulates over time. It seems like a small thing, but it's like, man, when I go in that building and I walk in there now, I'm like, holy shit, man, like the things that we would be able to take advantage if we had all those things. And it's like, it's great that, so many of the previous Penn State teams have paved the way for that type of investment in the building and that type of investment in our program to exist, man. But like, there's just so much more at their disposal. I mean, these guys, like they got food no matter what. I remember at the end of every semester, I was running out of meal points. I'll go and find a freshman. I'll take his card and I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to see you on Friday. And this is going to be mine for the next couple of days because mine's finished. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going and swiping his. I remember Jarvis, one of those guys, he always had extra meal points on this card. I used to go to Jarvis and say, yeah, I need this for the next 3 days. Man, time. You should take it, go swipe it, get what I need. Now, like, they're getting fed breakfast, lunch, dinner, and it's like a if you want food, as well as the meal points on top of that, as well as like, hey, we need you down to 262 pounds. You're at 270 right now. So, like, you have a specific game plan, and, like, your food is right here that you're going to be eating every day. Like, all of those things didn't exist. So, I'm happy for them. I think it's awesome. I know they're taking advantage of that stuff. But, yeah, it's a different day and time.
Yeah. And like I said, I think the bigger picture of this is, like, tying it all in, right? Like, that is going to be, for me, what we have to watch out for. Like, I think offensively, like, we know what we're doing, very comfortable in the scheme, got a quarterback who's been there for a while now, got a ton of reps under his belt. Defensively, new scheme, but guy who just won a national championship, so a lot of experience, and that side of the ball's always been very, very talented for us. You layer in the strength and conditioning, the innovation, the alignment, like, it's all there for the taking, and that's why I think all this stuff's warranted. And I just really hope that this team embraces it and sprints to it, right? Like, they don't.
Yeah.
We earned all that shit. Like, we earned all of this hype, right? So, like, don't run away from it. Don't play it down. Like, man, like, we put in the work for this. Like, this is where this team's at. And I'm happy as a letterman, like, looking at it, like, I'm happy that that's where the program is. Like, it just brings me such joy because, like, that's what it's all about, right? Like, it's about earning it. And like you said, like, the previous generations kind of setting the bar for all this innovation and all this development and all that stuff. But, like, even just from a mentality standpoint, man, like, this is Penn State. Like, this is where this place should be. Like, we should be in this conversation consistently, year in, year out. Top 5 team, preseason, here we go.
Yes.
They can win it all. So this isn't uncharted territory. Like, this isn't new. Like, this program's been here before.
And we talked about that stuff in our pregame show. We talked about, like, going into the Ohio State and not just hoping we're going to win, but believing we will win. That's part of the battle, is stepping on that field and knowing somehow, some way, we know we're winning this game. Like, there's no doubt. There's no moment where we're all looking around at each other and hoping somebody steps up. No, it's a bunch of dogs saying, I hope it's on me. I hope I get to be the guy to make that last play. I hope I get to be the dude who has to make the play that makes the difference in this game. And having that mentality over the waiting around, sitting around, hoping that somebody else steps up. And I think that's going to happen this year.
Yeah, man. So, I think to kind of put a bow on this, dude, we are back here at the Pocket. We will be ripping. Like I said, next week we're going to kind of get into the minutiae, some of these receivers, some updates, and some talking points from training camp, kind of our analysis of it. And then we're going to be heading right into our weekly breakdowns, post games, and evaluations, and heading into the following weeks. So sorry for the break, but just know that's the expectation. This is where we're at. Jay, I appreciate you hopping on here with me today. Of course. There's going to be a lot more of us together. Moral of the story, man. Boys earned it. Fired up. Football's back. Weather's cool. Well, weather hasn't quite decided what it wants to do, but it's going to be hoodie weather soon. My favorite time of the year. And we're going to be backpacking Beaver Stadium and stadiums across the country.
Yes, sir.
Watching the best game ever created. So
yes, sir.
I'm stoked about it. Very happy to be back here. Wanted to get this out to you guys. Appreciate you tuning in. As always, make sure you're checking us out. State Media, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, the whole 9. We're on all of them. And Jay, as always, looking forward to next week with you both.
Number 2 in the nation, soon to be number 1. You can bet on it, baby.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out early. Ohio State, Texas.
Woo! Let's get it.